Hey everyone, welcome back to Unorthodox Cricket and another huge game of the Cricket World Cup last night. England versus Australia, not only two of the strongest teams in the world going head to head, but that game's had massive implications on the points table. So what we're going to do today is we're going to take a quick look at the England-Australia game and just see how that played out. Secondly, we're going to have a look at how that's influenced the points table. And then thirdly, just looking at semi-finals predictions, who's still in the race and what's going to happen going into this last few rounds of the World Cup. So looking at that England-Australia game last night, England won the toss, bit of overhead conditions, pitch looked a little bit green, so they decided to bowl first. Now as I sort of spoke in my previous videos, the key I thought for this game was wickets in the first 15 overs. Now unfortunately England couldn't make any sort of breakthrough in the first 15 overs. Yet again, Finch and Warner absolutely superb. The ball was moving around both in the air and off the wicket. They played within themselves and got through that really tough time and then capitalised later on. So Aaron Finch ended up on 100, Warner 53, and the best of the England bowlers was Chris Woakes with 2 for 46 of his 10 overs. Now the English bowlers probably didn't quite pitch the ball up as much as they should have, as the Australians showed us when they came out to bowl, and there was just no real penetration at the top. So Australia yet again had that really strong foundation at the top, but as I sort of predicted, they didn't have the middle order players to capitalise and really push for a big total. At one point it was looking like Australia could easily push 350, but in the end they struggled along to their 285. So outside of Finch and Warner, Steve Smith came in at 4 again. Still I think that's a little bit low. Khawaja came in before, couldn't really push the pace, but as soon as Smith came in he was ticking the ball over, and it just looked a whole lot better. And then for the rest of the batsmen, your Glenn Maxwell's, your Stoinis's, they couldn't finish the innings. It's not the first time this World Cup, and I think that is a real weakness for them moving into the semi-finals. Now going into that second innings, I really backed England to chase this down, but things went downhill really quickly. James Vince falling second ball to a great in-swinging ball from Jason Behrendorff, and then things just sort of got worse and worse from there. So as Australia lost no wickets in their first 15 overs, England were 4 down by the end of the 15th. That really just put them under the pump. Johnny Bairstow was still there and grinding it out. I thought he might have come good and sort of led them to victory, but then he dragged a pull shot from well outside off stump and was caught on the boundary. And then a last little bit of hope was when Ben Stokes and Jos Buttler came together. They looked really good till unfortunately yet again Jos Buttler held out to a great catch by Khawaja on the deep square leg boundary. Now I think the key for this game was the Australians really learning from the English mistakes. Early on they pitched the ball up really full, got it swinging, and that was the undoing of both Vince and Root early doors. Even though England had lost quite a few wickets early on, when Stokes and Buttler came together there was a little bit of hope, and even when Buttler fell you still had the likes of Moeen Ali, Chris Woakes, Rashid. I thought they might still scrape through to victory, but yet again they didn't really put up too much of a fight, and it was quite a comprehensive win for Australia in the end. Now as I sort of suspected, the game was wrapped up within the first 15 overs of each innings. As I say, Australia didn't lose a wicket and England had lost 4, and that was virtually the game over there. Now that really puts the pressure on England moving forward, and now Australia have secured a semi-final spot. So as we sort of take a look at the points table after the latest round, as we can see, Australia are on 12 points and have qualified for the semi-finals. Closely followed by New Zealand on 11, India on 9, England on 8, Bangladesh on 7, Sri Lanka 6, Pakistan 5, and West Indies on 3. Now the West Indies have the potential to get to 9 points, but as we sort of look at the table, even them getting to 9 points is really going to rely on the other team's results, and I just don't think it's plausible. So I think it's fair to say that we can say that West Indies are out of the tournament along with South Africa and Afghanistan. So if we take a look at the schedule moving forward, Australia have already qualified, so we don't need to worry about them. Now for New Zealand to qualify they need one more win out of Pakistan, England and Australia. So obviously 3 really hard games to end. Hopefully they can get the job done against Pakistan tonight. but if not, it still gives them 2 more opportunities there. India, I think, will need 2 wins, but they've got 4 games remaining, so they've got the West Indies, England, Bangladesh and Sri Lanka, so I think India will walk into a final there. Now the big one, England, they've really put themselves under the pump through their last couple of games, so they need to win their last 2 games, and they're against India and New Zealand. So as we can sort of see, that's not going to be an easy task, and that would be devastating if the host bowed out before the semis. Bangladesh, they need 2 wins from their 2 remaining games. Now this is very plausible. India, huge task, but as we sort of saw with Afghanistan, they really pushed India, and then their second game is against Pakistan, and I think they might just get that one there. Now Sri Lanka need 3 wins, I'd say, to make the semis, and they're against South Africa, West Indies and India. And Pakistan, finally, they need 3 wins out of New Zealand, Afghanistan and Bangladesh. So it's going to be a really interesting final few games of the World Cup, just to see who can push through to those semi-final spots. Now just looking ahead to the semi-finals, we already know Australia's in there, so they're locked in. I think it's going to be hard for India and New Zealand to both miss out, so I've predicted them to both make it. And then thirdly, I think the 4th team is either going to be England or Bangladesh. So these are just some of my predictions. England and Australia in the first semi-final, and that would be an absolutely great chance for England to bounce back and get the wood back over Australia. And then in the second semi-final, New Zealand versus India. I think that's probably a likely one, regardless. Or the other one is potentially Australia versus Bangladesh and New Zealand versus India again. I just really think that it's definitely going to be England to win their last couple of games, or Bangladesh are going to upset India and then beat the Pakistanis, and then who knows what's going to happen. But that's just some of my thoughts. Let me know what you guys sort of think of last night's game, what you guys think of the points table, who you guys think might make the semi-finals. And I'm really excited for the game tonight. It's absolutely huge as a New Zealand fan. We've always struggled against Pakistan in World Cup, so it's absolutely huge. But if we get the job done tonight, that'll secure our semi-final spot to go along with Australia. But thanks again for watching. As always, still getting used to this, still trying to improve. So any comments, improvements, critiques, anything's greatly appreciated. And any ideas for future videos, let me know in the comments. But enjoy tonight's game, and I'll see you again tomorrow.